Hey guys, welcome back to Boots and Bounty Homestead. Now, who in the world would want double chocolate chip cookies? Two hands, me, I want double chocolate chip cookies. Now, if you've been following me the last 3 months, you will know that I am fixing my diabetes, and I'm doing it all myself. I'm doing it with food, no medication, medical help. But that's not going to deter me from having what I want to have. So, in these last couple of weeks, I have been off camera trying some recipes out that I can start sharing with you guys. Because I still want my cookies, I still want my brownies, I still want all the good stuff. I want sandwiches, I want rolls, I want noodles, I want all the good stuff. But, as I keep saying, if you follow me on Facebook, I'm going to have what I want the way that I can have it. And I'm not going to take no less than the greatest tasting stuff. So, I'm going to show you a great recipe that I found. I've kind of created it, conjured up from multiple recipes, what I like about each of them, and put them all into one, and we're going to enjoy a great cookie. Bonus feature is that you can also use this cookie recipe and it become a brownie recipe. You just adjust the cooking time. That is it. So I'm going to show you a picture of the brownies that I made, but we're going to make cookies together. Simple ingredients. You should have all of these except maybe 1 or 2, but you can use substitutes if you want. But this recipe is going to be for sugar-free, for grain-free, for peanut-free, whatever free you want to make it. It does have eggs, but you can also substitute that. I don't have a problem using eggs, so I'm not going to substitute my eggs, but you can use a flax egg if you would like. So what we are going to use, I have found cashew butter is so much better than almond butter. So over the years of keto, I have discovered almond butter, just like everybody else does as they go through the keto journey. But cashew butter is so much better. Our preacher is actually allergic to peanuts, and he said that cashew butter was actually better than almond butter, and that's what they prefer to use, so I gave it a try. I love it. I'll never buy almond butter unless they're just absolutely out of this stuff. So I just got this at Walmart. I read all the ingredients on everything. Yes, this does have some unapproved oils for what I'm trying to do, and it does have a little bit of cane sugar in it. Other than that, I'm okay with this. Until I find a better substitute, this is what I'm going to be using because it's just local. So we've got cashew butter as one of the ingredients. You want to use cocoa powder. That's pretty generic. I've got 2 eggs, and the only sugar-free I can find locally is going to be the Hershey's Zero Sugar. So I have been using this. Occasionally when I go to the next county over, I can find different brands of sugar-free chocolate chips. But just as a last grab and go, that's the only one I can find locally to me. And then we're going to have 2/3 cup of sugar-free powdered sugar. Now, this is the brand that I use. I also found this to be not the cheapest, but I like the taste the best. You can also use this brand. They have monk fruit, powdered sugar, granulated sugar, and brown sugar. So they have all 4 of your sugar needs met. So sometimes they're like, oh, people are like, oh, that's expensive. But you will find once you swap over, your body doesn't crave sweets as much, and therefore you cook less, and then therefore that amount of money stretches farther when you make these kinds of recipes. If you don't want to buy powdered sugar by itself, you can actually buy the granulated sugar, and if you have a coffee grinder, you can make powdered sugar yourself. Just powder it up. So that's what I actually do. I don't buy 2 different ones. I have my granulated sugar, which I keep up here in this big jar, and then I have a coffee grinder where I make my own powdered sugar. So that's what this is. 2/3 cup of powdered sugar, and then I've got 2 eggs. The only other thing I need is baking soda and salt, which everybody should have on hand. Got baking soda, and here's my salt back here on the stove. That's all the ingredients. We're not using almond flour. We're not using coconut flour. We're not using any kind of other flour substitute. This is what is going to make our cookies, believe it or not. So let's get started. First of all, don't forget to preheat your oven to 350 degrees, or you can use your air fryer. I have an air fryer that does a bake option, so you could also do that. It'll be 350 degrees. So I'm firstly going to put my powdered sugar in there. 2/3 cup powdered sugar, 1/4 cup, I taste it, 1/4 cup of salt. I need a teaspoon of baking soda. If you would like, you can use a 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder as well, but you will see these will get absolutely fluffy. Then we've got a 1/2 cup of cashew butter. If you've kept this in the refrigerator, you're going to want to let it thaw out. You want to let it come to room temperature a little bit, because this does have to mix. So you want this to be kind of soft. And I'm just eyeballing this, and you'll see the cookies come out fantastic. And then we've got a 1/3 cup of cocoa. And then our 2 eggs. Now I've got to take this over here because my plug over here is not working at the moment. We've got to change it out this weekend. But I'm going to take my bowl over here, and I'm going to beat this all together and then add the chocolate chips. You can do this first part by hand or with a hand mixer if you would like, and then add in the chocolate chips and just stir them in by spoon. Let this mix until you don't see any more peanut butter swirls in there, because it does take a minute for the peanut butter to incorporate. And you can also scrape down the sides if you need to. And then we're going to add in our chocolate chips. Need a bigger hole. There we go. Add in the chocolate chips. And for these recipes, this bag right here, I can make like 6 batches of cookies, because with this right here, my recipes don't call but for like 32 grams, which is like a 1/4 cup. And this has 226 grams in it. So I can make like 6 batches of cookies. So we're just going to give that a quick little toss around. And that's it. There's our pretty batter. I have a cookie scoop that I'm going to use. You don't have to. The only thing I do recommend is parchment. Not wax paper. Parchment. So we're going to take the cookies. And this says it makes 12. So we are going to scoop them up and see what happens. I don't want to overfill my cookie scoop, because I'm trying to get a true reading of the cookies. Like I said, I did make this into brownies, and I cut those into 9 brownies, 3 by 3 and an 8 by 8. And yes, they were fabulous. Even Logan liked them. And if y'all have been around long enough, you know Logan is allergic to anything healthy. I might get a little more than 12 out of these. I'm trying to be generous without going overboard. Alright, let's see if there's... I could get like 13, so I'm going to try to squeeze some in some of these. Top a couple of them off. This is kind of like sourdough, where you want to wet your fingers so it doesn't stick. So we're going to do that as we come back and start pushing our cookies down. these are going to go in the oven, like I said, at 350 degrees for 7 to 8 minutes. No longer than that, because with this type of cooking, you can't go by what it looks like, if you know what I mean. You have to go by timing, and as long as your oven is the correct temperature, you'll have to go by timing until you kind of learn what you're looking for, because a lot of this stuff is going to look undone until it cools off. So, in they go. And we're going to do 7 to 8 minutes. There we go. I'll be right back. Okay, be careful, don't bump them. There they are. Let them cool off a few minutes and come back in a second. So in the meantime, while those are cooling off, I'm going to show you the brownies. So I'm going to show you what they look like. There's the chocolate in the center. Ooey gooey. These are best when they're eaten warm. But all I did was take this exact recipe and had a brain fog moment. Now, I had my mind set on finding brownies, and I found these cookies that looked really, really good. And so I started trying these, but I started brownies on the brain, and so I accidentally put them in an 8x8 and put them in the oven, and I was like, wait a minute, I think that's supposed to be a cookie recipe. So then I started searching and trying to find what time I should make it on. So I just kind of baked it until the toothpick came out clean, which was a little bit overdone. Like I said, you got to be careful with these kind of recipes because you can overbake them. And so yes, these are a little bit overbaked, but if you warm them up, they go right back to the way they were when they came out of the oven, and they are great. Like I said, the recipe for these two things are exactly the same. For the brownies, I cooked them at 350 degrees for 22 minutes. You just want to make sure that you cook them until they come out with a toothpick clean. And you can see they are bumpy on top, fluffy, bumpy, just like the cookies. And then I did an 8x8 instead of a 9x9. And you can see all of the gooey deliciousness in there from the chocolate chips. And I mean, these break and act just like normal brownies do. Big old fat piece of chocolate right there. And then you can make cookies if you want, so whichever, it's still delicious. So I did have Logan try these last night. I was like, oh my gosh, you gotta try these, because he doesn't touch anything that I cook lately. And so he was like, oh, is this mine? And I was like, he said, do you want it back? I was like, oh, you can have it if you want it. He did give it back, and I did finish it. But to me, that is a winner. If a picky child can eat something like this and, you know, it still be good to them. So yeah, that's why we made the cookies today, because I wanted to, of course, video this for you guys. I want to thank you guys for stopping by, checking out this really delicious recipe. I was super excited to share this with you as soon as we tried them last night. I was like, this is a YouTube winner right here. It's got to go in there for all my friends to have. And so I want you to try these. Let me know how you like them. You'll have most of the ingredients. Like I said, you can use regular peanut butter if you want. You can use almond butter, whatever kind of butter you want to use. You can use eggs. You can use flax eggs. You could even try subbing the eggs for maybe an applesauce, or maybe some cottage cheese or yogurt or something like that, if you would want to. Other than the sugar-free chocolate chips and the sugar-free powdered sugar, you can use regular if you want. It's totally up to you. So I just wanted to bring this flourless, sugar-free version of a double chocolate chip cookie to you guys, so you will not have to go without, and those sugar cravings and chocolate cravings will be satisfied. So until next time, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and we'll see you then. Bye!